you have the power to record now. Oh, there you go. He did. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, boys and girls, have a good class. How many people do we have right now? How many participants do we have? Only 6. Okay. Max, you can start the class maybe in 5 minutes from now. People are still joining. People are late sometimes.
No problem.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, boys and girls, I'll take your leave, but I'll jump back in as soon as my meeting is finished. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, I got so will wait another 5 minutes or?
Yes, please. Yeah. Just talk to Josh, Kieran, Laura, Adam. Introduce yourselves. Say a couple of things about yourself. Let Max know what you guys do, what your interests are, and then in 5 minutes from now, Max can start the class. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Okay. I'll take your leave, guys. We'll see you a little later. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
It looks like I'm the only one who kept his camera on for this moment. Everybody else got shy. Um, well, yeah, since he said to introduce ourselves, I'm Kieran, fourth year student here, taking this editing class. Like I'm thinking career wise, like I want to go into editing at this point. Like it's something that I've been interested in for a long time, and it's something like I could definitely see myself doing. Um, Definitely like I'm curious to hear from you specifically because like I feel like sound is definitely like my worst area. That's definitely my weak spot, and I think I want to develop like my ear a little bit more, um, so I could figure that out. And I also know like that uh sound like specialists are a little bit more required at this point. Like there's a little bit more desire for that. So yeah, so I'm excited to hear from you.
Especially in Winnipeg, or
Oh,
you mean
yeah,
like
yeah.
all of North American film industry?
No, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I think they're like, I mean, good sound people are sparse. But there are, at least in Europe, there are quite a lot. But still, if you're like always, if you're good, you will get a job. If you're good and if you're nice, like yeah. Mm. Actually, I posted a link into the chat of a Miro board. I don't know if you guys know this Miro. It's like this homepage where you can make like these sketch boards and stuff, where I put together some links and some notes about what I'm talking about today. So maybe some of you can try if the link will work.
Yeah, it looks like it's working.
Okay, perfect. So you see like the four boards with a little bit of stuff about myself and
Hmm.
okay. We'll wait a little bit more, but otherwise, so you like to edit picture, I guess, and be better in editing sound, right? So, oh, first of all, my English is, I can understand mostly everything, but speaking takes me some time, so bear with me, please. Sometimes I'll mess up the words and stuff. I hope so. Just ask whenever you got questions because I didn't find the right words or whatever, or just because you have questions, just ask. You can even ask in the chat. I have it open and always have a look at it while we're at it. Yeah. So yeah, I think like actually when you're a good film editor, you always also do rough sound design while editing. Or like, I think there are way too often editors who ignore all the sound, and it changes the rhythm of the whole film piece really, really, really a lot if you edit out all the kinks in the sound. And you like more often than not, you would then even change picture because you did some sound design. Like I mean like a scratch sound design, of course. You don't do like full-fledged effects and atmospheres or whatever, but like I would, when I'm editing film, like in DaVinci or Premiere or wherever, I also try to do a sound design pass. Like, so because, yeah, as I said, then the rhythm of the movie will become apparent. And before that, you kind of, you think stuff is boring, which might even not be if you put in the right amount of work into the sound, or like, because you can fill a lot of these little pause moments with the right ambient sounds and stuff. And I don't know, yeah, you got, you know, like film is, doing the sound design on film is a lot like making music, trying to always pace the right rhythm. Like always when people get a bit bored or like subconsciously not so focused anymore, you put a new sound somewhere, which is like not very much in front, but which just catches their attention, like the subconscious attention. But I will talk about that later on a bit more when I talk about the philosophy of how I do sound design. So I guess I gonna start now. What's my preferred software? Yeah, preferred is hard because you don't really have a choice. If you want to become like a full-time sound designer, like just doing sound design, then you have to use Pro Tools. There is no other way because it's the industry standard still. And yeah, it's expensive and sometimes annoying, but it also has a lot of strengths. When you're, especially in really editing sound, Pro Tools can be very, very powerful and fast. Yeah, so but when I'm editing movies, like the film editing side, not the sound side, I prefer DaVinci. Because yeah, I think it's, I don't know, Premiere sucks because it takes so long when you when you press play, it takes more time than DaVinci to start. And this annoys me, like, because I press play like thousands of times a day. Just a tiny detail, but everything's fine. I don't know. I work with whatever. Oh, and yeah, I'm not very good at editing Avid, like the Media Composer. I did it a couple of times, but I'm not super good at it. But if you work with Pro Tools and have the film edit in the Media Composer, this is very, very convenient because all the transfer of the data to Pro Tools works so much more charmingly easy. But yeah. So, oh, anyways, like always, let me know what you want to know. Like if you want some weird technical detail, because I think like everything I will give like an overview now, and then you can maybe decide what you want to know more about and get into detail or something like this. So I will just start with sharing my screen, I think. So can people see my screen? Yes, cool, nice. So this is the Miro board. You can go click on the link in the chat if you want to be inside the Miro board, which helps sometimes because then you can click the links I put there. So this little board is about myself. So it's just some links of work I've done. So whenever you like, you can later after class have a look at that stuff. I don't know, because I think I just I think it's a bit stupid to now watch a movie because time's precious. Let's maybe talk about stuff more or less. So, but I can tell you what I've done. I've been part of like huge projects in the sound design area. Like, for example, The Physicist, I don't know, it was like 2013, like a really huge German production of the book The Physicist. I don't know if you know this, like this medieval all historic movie. And some more of this. And I did a lot of Winnipeg movies because I know Marcus, the guy from Farpoint Films. I don't know if you know him. He's a DOP here in town, and we studied film together. And so I don't know, somehow there were like these connections. So I did a lot of the small short films that Milos and Ian, Bava, and Fabian did. And I actually even have brought like the session of one of their latest films. I think it's called Surf the Country. I don't know if you have seen it. So this is the Pro Tools session. We can later have a look at what I've done here, like as a small scale but still ambitious project, maybe something like this. And yeah, I'm working as a freelance sound designer and a freelance director down here. I don't know if you see my mouse cursor. It's like a lot of the movies I did myself, like, and up here is more the sound design work stuff. And there's like also we did like this projection mapping stuff where we take a building in a city and project onto it and try to write a nice story, which is not just spectacle, not just wow, big magic, there's a big projection, but to somehow even still tell a story and make great sound design. There's like huge PA system here hidden behind, so like the whole city could hear the sound we did, which was quite nice. And we do this like once a year, even on this specific building. And then here is like stuff like the an immersive art installation, which is like wait a second, it's like a room. It's like a bit like VR goggles, but without the goggles. You go in a room and everything's projected, and the perspective follows your movement, and you can interact like in real life. It's a bit like a video game, but but more with art, I would say. So this is also stuff I do, and I also would, if you like, are interested in sound, I think having a look at video game sound is at least the more substantial career option, because film, yeah, there's a lot of people who want to do film, and money declines a little bit. Like the money in the film industry is not so big anymore as it has been, but games still make a ton of money. And it's also like very interesting from a sound perspective, I think. Like, but that's another topic, like sound design for games. So next chapter. Oh, actually, I didn't see the chat anymore. Did someone ask anything? There is stuff. It's the link here in the set. It's in the chat. It should be. It's the first one. Maybe I have to post it once more because you can have been a bit later. Sorry. Copy board link, and here is the link. Sorry. So now I'm gonna see the chat all of the time as well. So please ask questions whenever you want. So now sound. Why is sound, like, for me so important? I think, like, I would even take on the take, like there's always this discussion, like what's more important, the picture in a movie or the sound in the movie, or how are the relations of the affection they have on the audience. And I sincerely believe that sound's more important than picture, because sound is the very subtle art of you know, going around the conscious mind of the audience and hitting them directly into their subconscious emotional center. I don't know, people don't think about sound, and that's the great advantage of sound design, because they don't judge it so much, you know, they let it in, even if they don't, even if they are reserved against the movie or whatever, if they have like objections kind of, if you do good sound design, it will hit them anyways. And it's the thing that's gonna makes them cry, is like the sound. And the music, of course, which is also sound, you know. But it's like the great strength of sound design is to go around all these borders people put up of experiencing their own emotions. Oh, how many video games have I worked on? I did not so many yet. It's just, but I'll do this. Oh, I'm jumping quite a lot. I'm sorry if stop me if I'm jumping too much. I will answer the questions later. First, I will finish this philosophical thing about why I believe sound is so important. But yeah, actually, I think yeah, it's like, because making the audience feel emotions, that's actually it. Like, and to like go around all of the conscious stuff and hitting them in their subconscious. That's why sound is so important. And yeah, I don't know, that's it for the philosophical stuff, I think. So how does game sound design differ from film, TV shows? Quite a lot, because how many have I worked on? Not so many, but this art installation I showed you is like a video game, because everything's in a game engine. So it's kind of this, it's like the same techniques you have to use there. So, and video game sound design differs a lot, because you don't have a controlled mix, kind of. Because you have so many different situations in where the sounds of the individual objects inside the game mix in a different way than you maybe have thought of, because sometimes the player is like close to the machine, which makes a loud noise, or maybe sometimes he's not, and then you have like, still you need to try to get through the dialogue of the story which is narrated above it and stuff. So you have to be you have to cater for this interactivity a lot. And you also have to cater for that maybe the player keeps playing in an area where there's just boring sounds or just nothing so nice happening, and you have to like make enough changes inside the atmospheres and stuff, because you can't control how long the players will stay at some place. And then you have, and the next thing is like, you have like the players shooting maybe their gun or whatever. And if the sounds of the gun are too similar, it will get really annoying very fast. So you always have to build up the sound effects of these, maybe like, let's take the gunshot, in a couple of layers, and switch out the different layers and have like random pitch shifts and stuff inside. So there will be a similar sound, but always a different one. So this is actually the most work for game audio, I believe, that to do a lot of assets, which are like so not that they can change like all the time, you know, that they're sounding the same, but are interesting enough to not get boring, even if you press your shoot your gun like thousands of times in a video game. So, but now let's stop with video games, because I prepared for film sound design. Yeah. Let's start with a little bit of location sound. This is, I'm scrolling to the next board here. There's like this, I think location sound is the more technical side of the sound department working in film. You don't, you're not so much an artist as you are a technician, but you are very, very important because you feed the post, the audio post, all the performances of the actors. And this is like your super, super main focus while recording on set. Like nothing else really matters besides what comes out of the mouths of the actors. Like all their language, all their little breathing, all their, like, you know, you want like to get really close to them. And this is why I also like doing location sound, because you are with your ears all the time very close to the acting, and you're the first one who hears if they're acting good or if they're acting bad, because you get the voices. You get like a real-time feedback to how the voice cracks up and stuff like this. And this like really drags you in, and you can really learn a lot about how people act. And actually, for my directing work, the work as a location sound recordist helped maybe the most about like working with the actors and telling if they're acting actually good or not, if I believe them or if I don't believe them. Yeah. So, okay, back to location recording. You you just want all this acting. Everything else you don't care about. So you that makes like a puts you in a bit of a pickle at sometimes, because on one hand you really want to remove all the noises in the background and stuff. I guess you know that you switch off the refrigerator, you try to make people shut up in the background, you whatever, you maybe put underneath the chair like these little rubbery thingies so they don't squeak and stuff like this. So the voice is clean, the dialogue is clean. But still, at the same time, if you take too much time and are too much in the way of the actors with all doing this, you lose the focus of the production, and this is even more bad for the performance than dirty dialogue. So you have to find like a little bit of a not being too much in the way and being like this little shadow, the fly on the wall, and trying to still get everything very nicely, so that the performance, that the work of the directors and together with the actors is not interrupted too much, only if there's really something very, very going wrong. So yeah, because once again, the acting comes first. Performance is everything. Yeah, it's more important than a clean audio signal. Or because yeah, sometimes if maybe the sound's shitty, but still the performance, like that's the one take where the actor was so good, then it's better to have it in the movie than to have clean audio but bad performance. Okay, yeah. Then second, if you get the time and if everything works well and the production works well, you try to get also a lot of as much wild tracks as possible. When you're safe on all the dialogue stuff, you try to record the doors on set. You try to record the cars, the picture cars. You try to, I don't know, get like nice stereo or even surround ambiances of rooms which are interesting. For example, on Strong Sun, we shot in this gym. So I did ambiances there. And we have a special old picture car from the 90s, which is driving around quite a lot. So I'll do nice stereo Atmos in there. Yeah. Next thing, how to capture performances very well. Boom them. Use microphones and not the laughs. My opinion. Laughs are for the backup. It's a failsafe. if something goes wrong, or if you're not fast enough in switching the characters while booming. But try to boom everything as much as possible, even if camera hates you for that. Still do it. Yeah, and maybe even try to ask for 2 boom ops, like, so you can like split all the actors when they have like very fast dialogue lines. So one boom stays with one character, the other with another character. So you don't have to switch and are too late when they're starting to improvise or the rhythm changes and stuff like this. Yeah, because boom's good and sounds just way better and more emotional, and yeah. But of course, still we put wires on everyone because there's always a situation where you don't get the boom to the proper position. And sometimes the wire is also good for the breathing stuff and the subtle stuff. Okay, that's it for location sound. Do you have any questions for location sound? Is here actually anyone who wants to do location sound, or are you all editors? I guess all editors, right? Because you're taking an editing class. So that makes kind of sense. Okay, maybe I have to slow down to fill all the hours we have. How long does it hi Keely. How long does it take in average to soundproof the area? That's a difficult question because you usually don't have a lot of time for doing that. But I'll always very much press for being part of Tech Scout, of like going around with the with camera and directors and location guys to all the locations and try to find out the problems before. And then first things of soundproofing is very often like putting like these mats on the floor if the floor is too squeaky or too loud, or if someone's wearing high heels or stuff like this. Or just shoes which make like are way too noisy. So, and then I usually have like how is this called in English? You know, like this fabric, like the very thick fabric, which is black, and which is like you can put like a huge, like these blankets kind of stuff. In Germany, we call them Molton. I don't know how you call them in English, but I usually also carry this around. I don't have it now here with Strong Sun because we're mainly in small sets and we are a small crew, and I had only a small suitcase to bring my stuff. But yeah, I always have some C-stands and some of these large blankets which I can like put up. Of course, I speak with the gaffer where they want the blanket to be so I don't take away the light and stuff, or maybe even help them because I take away the light, which is sometimes very nice for them to get more contrast in the picture. So yeah, I can place this to make the room a bit smaller and less reverberant. That's reverberant. That's, I guess, the word. Yeah, and then I use a lot of sound library. It's like it's the mix of them all, I think. I of course try to use as much production effects from the location sound, but usually you don't have the time to get so much because production's getting faster and faster because they don't have so much money. And yeah, so that's why I focus on the dialogue, on the performance, and I don't have enough production effects often. And I have like a 5 terabyte hard drive with a huge library. And I think as a sound designer, your library actually is like your most important toolkit. Because even if I get Foley, it's still like, you know, Foley is like sounding nice, but also a bit generic. If you want your own signature in the sound, you need the nice, cool sounds out of the library, and you need to edit them in a very creative way. You need to layer them a lot. You need to take them apart and just maybe take the beginning of the sound, the transient, and the middle of another, and yeah, become creative in mangling these. And yeah, you have to kind of develop an ear for what sounds are good sounds and what sounds are bad sounds. And that therefore it's very important to have, you know, therefore it's very important to have this sound library where you can have like already well recorded sounds and like develop this ear, and then you can like, you're faster in listening if the location sound effects are actually good or not, or if they even make the, because what do I use in production sound ambience for if it sounds like shit? I don't want it. Then I rather take a nice sounding ambience from my library and mangle it in a way that it doesn't feel like the same ambience over and over again. That's also why you need a big library, so you have enough variety. Yeah, so building a library is key. And I think even as picture editor, this is very, very nice to have already a small, maybe not so big library, but a library what you can work for. And I'll very much recommend to you soundly.com. I think it's .com. No, that's not the right one. Wait a second. Maybe you guys already know this. This is a subscription module. You don't have to use the subscription. You can just use the software itself, but this is like a database software where you can put all your sounds in, and it reads out the metadata, so you can search for it more fast and more easy. This is like, I very much recommend this if you're a picture editor. When you're like becoming like a pro sound designer, I use SoundMiner, but it's very expensive. So you kind of have to see if it's really worth the money, because I think it costs like $700 or something. While when you're using Soundly, it's free, and if you're using the subscription, so you already get a quite nice library online always there. It's like $15 a month, I think, and you can like switch it off monthly. You can use it on a monthly basis. So while you're on a project, you yeah, you activate it, and while not, you're not. So I'll put it in the chat. And the SoundMiner one too, why not? It's a bit more, it has more features, which are nice, but I don't know. You get like 90% of what you need is already in Soundly. So yeah, I recommend this. Here we go. Okay, yeah. So yes, what I think I'll just talk a little bit of how my sessions, my sound design sessions split up to the different parts. So this is like the blue board where we're at right now, with the main mix over here, having like everything feeding in. No matter what, if it's stereo or 5.1 or 7.1 or whatever weird immersive format you need, still stuff splits out into stems. And the main stems are like I think you call them DME in English. I don't know. So like dialogue, music, effects. I don't know why, but I always use another order. I always say like dialogue, effects, music. That's how I work. I don't know. Yeah, and so let's maybe be quick with just giving you the overview and then jumping into the Pro Tools session. So dialogue is parted into, of course, dialogue. So that means like all the sound of the performances that is recorded while the shoot of the film. Then we got like maybe a fast track, which is like if some dialogue is in a telephone and needs a special filter or something, or comes from a radio or whatever. And then, of course, ADR, if there is any, hopefully not. If we've done our job good at location sound, there will be no ADR, but I think every project has some kind of ADR, usually. And then there is the production sound FX, which you edit out of the dialogue and put onto its own tracks. If you're like very careful, maybe you don't do it as a picture editor, that's not so important. But if you're in the sound design phase, I want to clean the dialogue from the production FX. So it will work as an international track. So if there is someone making like a German sync, for example, of the film, you still have all these sounds. So if someone's using a door in and they're speaking afterwards, you edit out the door and fill the gap with some kind of ambience noise you also get from the dialogue. So, and this, I think, like filling all these gaps you edit in and making these smooth is also very important as a picture editor. If you like, you do cut stuff and then sometimes the director speaks and you have to cut that out, or there's some weird noise you don't want to hear, you have to cut it out. Always try to fill this with some kind of ambience you get from the take itself. Try to search for the little breaks in the take and edit out some kind of filling in there. This really helps with the flow of the movie, even while you're still just in picture edit. Okay, so but the production sound effects, that's what I was talking like for example, the doors, the cars, whatever, they for me go to the stem of the FX and not into the dialogue stem, because dialogue I can switch off and then English is gone and I can switch on German or something like this. Depends on the production, of course. Yeah, so you got FX. There are built out of course ambiences, and I put them first because I believe they're maybe the most important, because you can do the most storytelling in the ambiences, in my opinion. And this is also something for you as picture editors, I would recommend do already in your picture edit, like even in DaVinci or in Premiere or wherever. Try to find like at least one nice ambience which kind of places the movie in the real world, you know? Like give the different locations the movie is in a different feeling, a different kind of color, as you would maybe visually say. So have a nice, I don't know, of course, if it's a mall, have the mall shutter. If it's like a dark basement, maybe have like the neon lights, which doing their high-pitched noise and stuff like this. This is for the static ambiences, because I believe ambiences should be made of two parts, kind of. There's static parts and they're like percussive parts. Percussive in quote unquote percussive. It's percussive is for me, they're like events which don't happen very often, but you place them into the gaps where you know there's like a little beat in the story, and you sometimes maybe the audience loses the focus. Then you place like all these tiny noises. This could be like maybe just a mumbling person from upstairs, or some furniture movement from upstairs, or maybe a wood creak if you're in a wooden cabin, or maybe it's like some, I don't know, a car pass by if you're outside, sometime something like this, or just you have like these little objects which fill all the gaps. So you make the movie flow better, have a nicer pacing. These are like the very most important effects in the whole sound design, in my opinion, because they're subtle. They don't scream, "I'm doing sound design," and therefore taking away the audience out of the film world, but into, oh, there's nice sound design world, if you understand what I mean. But they keep them in the movie, they keep them in the story, they keep them in the world, but still feed them a little bit of excitement once in a while. So keep the grasp on your audience, kind of. So this is like the very most important stuff you can do. Yeah. Next thing, Foley. I guess you all know what Foley is because it's the most beautiful looking stuff. If some people do Foley, it's always very interesting, and there's a lot of videos about Foley artists doing their art. And for me, Foley is to give all the like, you know, while location sound, we focus on the voices and maybe even try to get rid of all the other noises, like the footsteps and stuff like this. Try to get to separate it so we have clean dialogue. So now comes Foley and edits all this in, but in a more, I would say, maybe a bit closer than in real world, a bit better sounding than in real world. So you make everything like a bit more haptic. You make everything a bit more, I don't know, juicy, or I don't know how you would say that. So it gets a tiny bit of hyper realistic, and then you can, like, in the mix, dial in how much hyper realism of the world you want, without making it too obvious and again pushing out the audience out of the film world, but keeping them in. Yeah, so that's comprised of course, footsteps, so all the walking of all the people, the props, which is like all the things the actors are handling. Maybe they're opening a water bottle or putting it on the table. Then you have like the screwing sound or the wood sound. And there's always often a layer of movement. So it's like the fabric noise, like doing this. I don't know if you can hear this. Like, so if someone stands up, this makes like a rustling noise. And this is like a very subtle but still nice touch to make the world real and to like get the feeling for the characters. If the moth isn't there, you don't get so close to the actor itself a little bit. It's the super subtle stuff, but it works. Okay, then next in the big thing is like all SFX, like special FX kind of stuff. There's like the more obvious things, like the doors. Doors always take a lot of time. You have to remember that the doors are often the same doors, so they need to sound similar but also different. You have to do them in the right perspective and stuff like this. So doors are often a lot of work, but also nice to do. Then you have like cars and machines and all like the bigger, more obvious stuff is in the SFX. And then you have like a special special side of the SFX, which is like the sound designy stuff. I don't know, which like somehow is close to music, which in my opinion, like in the best of sound designs, they even meld together. Music and like all the sound design, the noise stuff, become one level, and you kind of try to even think of your sound design in a pitch, in a you know, if you got a song, it's in a certain key, and you can tune your sound design to this key, and this really helps. If you try to think of the sound design as music, and to like really appreciate the, you know, if there's a car passing by, it always has a pitch, and you can like tune this to the music which is playing, the soundtrack which is playing. for example, the car, or maybe the alarm sound of the smartphone or whatever. You can pitch it to the correct stuff, and so on and so on and so on. So this is nice. This is always the fun part because you can get like very creative, but it's also, in my opinion, not the so much important part. Like all the other stuff makes the movie really, how do you say, visceral? Sorry for my pronunciation. It makes the movie like really haptic. And this sound design stuff, it's easy. You like, I don't know. It's like sometimes it doesn't really help to drag you into the story. It again like is too obvious and too in your face, so the audience is dragged out of the story world we're actually in. So be careful with that, but also be nice. And it's very funny. It's a lot of fun to do this. And last but not least, we have the music, which is very important, but maybe we don't speak about so much today, but we can if you want, because I also compose quite a lot of music. Yeah. And there is like two parts. There's like the diegetic. I don't know if this is the right English word, but it's the music which is actually in the scene. So if someone switches on television and there's music in it, or maybe listens to radio or whatever, then you got this diegetic music, and you got the out of story, like the soundtrack music, the score, as you would say. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and very often you get like a score, and I forgot to put this. Maybe I just put it in. You get like the score, and you got like kind of the quote unquote pop music, like, which is for me also always on some separate tracks, because it's like if there's like a proper song of a band or something, it's always easier to keep the score and the proper song separated, so you can like mix them better, edit them better together. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Any questions for now? So otherwise, I will jump into the Pro Tools session. Does everyone see what's happening here?
Yep, looks good.
Cool, thank you. So I'll just start from the beginning. Up here is my bounces. So this is the final mix. There's like the stereo version, and there's the 5.1 version with, of course, left, center, right, left surround, right surround, and the sub LFE channels. And we always do a down mix for internet, which is like mostly used. So this is maybe even the more important mix. Then this part we can forget about. This is what I asked from picture. Oh, maybe we don't forget about. Maybe this is very important information for you guys because you're mainly picture editors. So if what I want to have from picture editorial for my sound design is like the guide tracks already split. So I'll ask for only dialogue. Wait, I'll make the waveforms a bit smaller, like this maybe. So I ask for production sound with dialogue, split to music, to special effects the editor already put in, like from their own library or whatever. Like some special. So I can, like, while doing my edits, my sound design edits, I can, like, for example, if I do just dialogue editing, I'll leave those both on and can listen against the music and stuff and just switch out off the dialogue. If I would have only the mix down of the editing, this is way more difficult to already see the bigger picture, even if I'm just working on dialogue. Yeah, that's actually quite important. So if you want to make your sound designer happy, give them stems already while exporting. Yeah, and of course, I don't know, maybe you guys have questions about how to transfer your edit to Pro Tools. Then ask them if you want. Otherwise, I will just go on with how this session is built. So all of these stuff with the lines are aux buses. So they route, I route all the audio to those, and you see like automation of volume for the specific stuff. So, and over here in Pro Tools, we have like a lot of effects on every track. For example, EQ, which then is maybe in this. Oh, maybe this one isn't even EQ'd, but I try to always put the same effects on on all tracks. So like all effect tracks have the same effects on them, and all dialogue tracks have the same effects on them. And you see here, if I'm scrolling through the movie, you see like how they become not bypassed anymore and stuff. And there's like all my automation in it, maybe like this. Okay, this is like getting rid of some hiss, I guess, like the sharp, like de-essing. This looks like de-essing. Yeah, this movie, particularly from the dialogue side of things, wasn't very easy because they didn't care about anything, and they only had like, very often they only had like one wire mic, even if there were like two people speaking. Only one wire into the camera, and that was it. Especially in this scene, I had to do like so much of somehow cleaning and rebuilding the dialogue. Oh, this is like, so you see like this. I don't know actually if audio is
150 for a used racket. What about this one? 150 for a used racket. What about this one?
I don't know. Can you hear my audio actually?
Used, but that's about 150. So used, but that's about 150. So
Maybe not. I don't know. Can you hear the audio? If no, say.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we can hear.
Perfect, perfect. So this special scene, I had to do like a lot of denoising.
this one is gonna run you 450.
I don't know if I
And the one right
still
next to
have
it-
got the bad sounding version of it. I have to see somewhere here. That's the props. Do I have the AAF somewhere? Maybe not. But we have this guide track.
I'm just looking for racket.
This one is gonna run you 450. And the one right next to it, its sister, it's gonna run you for about 250. That-
250. How much for that one right there?
So these are used.
Okay, used.
Used, but that's about 150. So
150 for a used racket.
So only Milos had the mic, and everything else is like the clerk, the guy who's selling the records, hadn't had any mic on him. So I really had to like enhance his voice a lot.
250.
Where is he? No, that's not him. I think this one's him. And wait a second, sorry.
hey, how you doing?
Hey, just looking for rackets, tennis rackets. How much are these?
Yeah, so this one is gonna run you 450. And the one right next to it, its sister, it's gonna run you for about 250.
250.
Yeah.
How much for that one right there?
So these are used,
Okay,
used, but that's about 150.
So maybe you notice like now they sound nearly the same. Before they were like Milos were like up front and the other guy were somewhere in the back. This was quite a lot of work to make them even. Of course, this is not something you can do easily in Picture Edit, but I don't know. The more you do this stuff, the better, kind of. Yeah, and I did it. Maybe, I don't know. Do you want to know more about how I did this, or should we just go into detail of dialogue editing a little bit? Because here you see, these are my dialogue tracks. As I said before, there's like the fast track. Whoopsie. Here's like the fast track with some in-store music. Just something very roomy, reverbery
Used,
in
but
the
that's about
scene. And then we got like some ADR somewhere here. And oh, I actually ended up not using the ADR just here once in this
that's for a
scene.
baby, man. Oh, what that?
Only this one.
Oh,
Because I think why I didn't use it, I have to have a listen.
that's for a baby, man. You don't want that.
The performance was never like quite good enough of the ADR. That's a huge problem with ADR. Like you only have a few actors who are really good at delivering better acting in ADR than on set. Yeah, maybe let's listen to this scene.
It's running a little late. Traffic, office stuff.
There it worked actually quite well because I mean, you can't see him, so so it's very easy to edit everything in what you want. Okay, so here ADR stuff. Okay, here just some grunts and noises when you get, I don't know, who of you guys have seen the movie? Maybe no one, because it just recently played TIFF, I think. So I don't know if they even released it yet. Is it good to watch the movie? I don't know. You want to watch it? Ah, you have seen it. All right, nice. So maybe we don't watch it, but we go into the details of the session. Otherwise, scream. So how to edit dialogue, which might be interesting for you. Now I'm just soloing the dialogue. I think.
excuse me. Hey. So I'm a army guy. Like I was in the army and I just need a couple of dollars. That's all. Do you guys have anything? Okay, sure. Hey, dude.
I think the most of the parts, and this is also interesting as picture editor, you have to somehow fill the gaps. That's what I already tried to talk to you about the few minutes earlier. So I sometimes, if the audio is bad,
Excuse me. Hey.
like here, where it's like some shitty stuff around.
Excuse me. Hey.
Oh no, oh no, it's the cleared version already. So you don't, it's like this already went through quite a lot of processing, this here. But that's, and I don't know if I kept the unprocessed. I think I was a bit lazy on this. Or maybe here's the unused stuff. Do I have the unused? Okay, maybe here. You know, this was more a small project with not so many people involved. Like I did 80% of all of it. So I didn't keep track of too much. Like I didn't do too much backtracking, so we could reverse stuff. So, but what I've done here, I hope it helps if I only talk about it. Otherwise, let me know if not. I cleaned this quite a lot. with some special plugins, like for example, Wave Clarity is quite nice, or even the built-in denoise of Premiere is not so bad, and I guess DaVinci has also one too, which is also not so bad. Yeah, so it's like suppressing all the background noise and leaving the audience, the dialogue. And then I'll search through all the takes, like for example, like stuff like this. You have like a little bit of these little breaks and stuff like here. Maybe this too. And this. And then this is now done very sloppy, but anyways, can like build a little room tone fill. I guess this one, what I did just wouldn't work. Yeah, if you would loop it more than this twice, it's like you will like very fast hear that it's has this rhythm in it. So this is like a bad example of how to do it, a very bad. But anyway, this kind of is what you do. You try to find the little pieces with what you then can do, like these little filling gaps. So that you can have over these filling gaps
Excuse me. Hey.
the cleaned dialogue. And together
Excuse me. Hey.
together it's sounding natural.
Excuse me. Hey. So I'm a army guy, like I was in the army, and
And there's always like, try to not clean it too much, is my philosophy. It's like if you take away too much of the dirt, you lose the emotions. You make it uncanny in a way.
so I'm
What else
army
did I
guy,
do?
like
I was
in the army.
feeling fancy on this shot, on this movie a little bit. So I made like reverbs, which are a bit over the top, I think.
So
But I like it.
I'm
I don't know.
army guy, like I was in the army, and I just need a couple of dollars. That's all.
I don't know if it transfers through Zoom, but there's like this shattering delay on it, which is somewhere over here. We have like 5 delays combined to one to make like this surround delay, which is like the voice would be echoing from the storefronts and the building fronts. It just sounds beautiful. It's not totally natural, but it's also not unnatural. So, and it makes it enhances it, in my opinion, in a nice way.
So
I don't know if you can hear this actually. So maybe this is too much of a detail. Yeah, so you go around and try to remove all the noise. You see like all these tiny edits everywhere. I just did some kind of removal. Maybe what was here? There was like a,
like I was in the army.
I don't know if you can hear this,
Like I was in the
but
army.
there's like a knack, like a loud clicking noise.
Like I was in the army, and I just need a couple of dollars. That's all. Do you guys have?
I remove all of those because they are distracting from the actual dialogue, and they have way too much decibel and ruin my overall volume.
Dollars. That's all. Do you guys have anything? Okay, sure.
And then next, I'll try to build like the room filling I told you about. I try to build some filling of, here's like the next scene, like the mic was in a total different location, so it sounds very different.
Hey,
We got
dude.
like this, and we got like
Anything?
this. Then you somehow try to make it long enough So it can overlap nicely. So you see here like this crossfading, so that it sounds as if it would be only one mic and that audience cannot really hear that there's like a shift in frequency. And
Anything? Okay, sure. Hey, dude.
What's up?
I mean, like, I know this is gonna be weird, but is there any way you could give me some money? I'm a soldier, like a vet, right? I just came back.
No, man. Sorry, we're all starving out here.
like here once more, edit out other vocal, other dialogue to keep it separate.
No, man. Sorry, we're all starving out here. No, man. Sorry, we're all starving out here.
This one I even did with the, I guess you guys know already the podcasting tool from Adobe, which like is giving extra frequency, AI generated frequency to your sound somehow. And I mixed it to the original a little bit.
No, man. Sorry, we're all starving out here.
Hey, man, what's up?
Good.
Hey, just hold on a second. Just 1 second.
Yeah, whatever. I guess this is becoming a bit too detailed. If not, let me know. So I'll switch to Dialog FX, so Production FX. There's like all this tennis playing happening, which sounds actually pretty nice already, but also a bit dirty. And but that's
Unbelievable.
cool.
My dad was kind of
And next in line, okay, up here is music. Maybe we just jump music. I did the music myself, so I was already working to the correct picture and to the correct sound design, so I could somehow mangle it quite nicely. But still, I gave me stems of the music. So I would be able to adapt the volumes. Let's see, did I do it? Oh, only here. Not so much. But you never know of the individual elements in the music. I didn't do so much volume writing. Okay, probably because I composed it myself, so I was being selfish about wanting to hear it or everything. So I got stems, and I usually ask for stems. If not, then not. But if you can have it, it's very nice. Okay, and then we come to the atmosphere, the ambiences. So this is like, as I told you, a very important part of the world building, because you can place, you can like really surround the audience. You can like really drag them into the world. So you see this, there's like a tennis court. Okay, that's urban. What do I do? Okay, let's get some. It's even like I used an MP3. Usually you don't want to use MP3s, but I mean, if the sound is good, whatever. If you mix it with enough high quality audio, no one will notice that there's like some shitty MP3 going on. So yeah, I don't know. Don't be too anal about using just quality audio, in my opinion. If the sounds are good, then it sounds good. Oh yeah, this is like more the static stuff, just a little bit of traffic. And there's like talking, which is also very important. And also street. And this is like a random tennis. Together like this. So it's kind of busy, but it's not too much in the way. You got the birds making a bit more summery, like in summer. And we got some childs going on.
Dad was kind of like Wayne Gretzky's dad. He was
I guess
really
I put it there because somehow I felt the scene needed to have a little bit of touch of something different to get, I don't know, to get the attention back. Oh yeah, and there's like here there was like a beat of not enough, so I also added in a bit of these children screaming. This is like the tiny details I told you about. Like no one will ever know, like no one in the audience will ever know that you did take a huge amount of time to edit in all these little details, but they will feel it. They for sure will feel it, and the movie will flow way better, and they won't lose attention. They won't get bored, even if it's something they could never tell in after watching the movie. So all this tiny detail, like putting there just some children screaming when there is like a little bit of nothing happening. And then putting the car somewhere. Then of course here you have like the proper picture car, not what do you mean picture car, but the on-screen car. Oh, is there a movie of bad sound edit? A good example of bad sound editing. I have to think about it. I mean, there's a lot of these movies like these action movies or these horror thriller movies where the sound design is so much in your face, which has the best. I have to think about it. There's a lot of very good sound design, of course, and I think like both ways of sound designing, like the very much in your face and the subtle unconscious way to do it, are of course okay. I mean, like it's art, right? So whatever you like, you like. But in my opinion, I want to put people in the world and not like tell them how good I am at sound design. That's like that's why I try, even if I use a lot of effects and if I even use a lot of unnatural and like sound design effects, I try to always mix them in a way that it's more like music and not like, da look at my sound design, blah blah blah, I'm the best sound designer in the world. So is there good stuff? For me, it's a movie I haven't. It's quite old already, and it's not very popular. But for me, I think I always tell this movie because when I saw it, I kind of understood why it's so good. It's like no one will ever talk about the sound design in this movie ever, I think. But that's what makes the sound design so good, because it has amazing sound design. Certain Woman, I think is it called. Is it that? No, not from 2024. Ah, damn it! What was the name of the movie? This one? Yeah, I didn't knew that they had this kind of movie picture, but that's the movie I'm talking about. For me, I guess maybe it's not the best example, but for me it was like the pivotal moment where I started to realize, oh yeah, that's actually the real power of sound. So this is why I tell people to watch this movie and listen to it. And of course, it's some Skywalker range sound design guy. They're just amazing. They do really good stuff. And yeah, bad sound design. I have to think about, I guess, any modern horror movie. Not any, but a lot of them are like so much in the face. You know, like when a movie sounds like its trailer, then you know, like the teaser, then you know, I don't know. Then I kind of get annoyed about it. I hope that answers the question. So where are we at? Oh, it's like only 10 minutes left, I guess. I was rambling quite a lot. So let's do questions, maybe? Maybe questions about this session, or just whatever you are interested in. Do you have any?
Do you have to do a lot of traveling for your job? Like when you have to go to certain like locations like to record sound or something like that? Or is it mostly just kind of like staying at home, being on the computer, just editing? Like what does that kind of look like for you?
When I'm doing location sound, I of course travel a lot. But kind of when you decide to be the sound designer person, you can pretty often just stay in your studio. I think the biggest problem is if you're taking sound design seriously, at some point you have to get a proper studio, like a room with good acoustics and nice monitors, like nice speakers. Because it's like very hard to do proper sound design in a shitty room, because all your frequency will be askew. The frequency balance will not match, not be nice and pleasant. And if you use headphones, your ears bleed. Yeah, so that's probably the biggest thing about doing seriously just sound design, is to get a studio to work in. Sometimes you just rent them when you get the job. You like also they hire you and pay you, of course, your fee, but also the rent of the place where you go. So I have a studio on my own at home, but it's a smaller one. And then if I get a production, I go to a studio and rent a place there for a couple of weeks or something like this. There's like this, it depends on how big the production is, how much money they have, how much I like them, how much I do at home, and how much I will go into a proper studio. Yeah. So, and yeah, of course, if you're doing like real proper cinema, like if the movie should go into the movies at the end and not being just internet or or TV, then you for sure also need to go to a proper mixing facility, at least in the end, for maybe 1 or 2 days. If the production doesn't have so much money, sometimes I'll do it in my own studio, but I always tell them that I can't guarantee that it works out totally fine. I think I'm now experienced enough to get it at a good level, but to really do all the volumes correctly and to the panning and the spacing for the big screen really good, you need to go to a sound stage. Or how do you call them? Not soundstage, to a proper studio, like a cinema studio. And then I often, if the production doesn't have enough money, I often mix like a lot at home and then go for maybe 2 or 3 days into the big studio, because they are fucking expensive. Always. Yeah, and I guess like on bigger movies, they spend weeks in these studios. Yes, and I got a question about what's actually the guidance of how loud stuff may be, and I can very much tell you, where do we go? Wait a second, here we are. I got this plugin, which is, in my opinion, super nice because it's not very expensive, but still, oh shit, it's happening. It's jumping to the wrong monitor. Wait, to the wrong screen. Wait a second. Come here. You're too big. Okay, here we go. I have to make it smaller. Wait a second. Sorry, guys. Only see half of it. Come on. Okay, maybe half is enough. You, fuck you. Sorry. It's because I'm using different screens than at home. That's why it's all messed up. Oh, fuck you. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Here is the Julian Loudness Meter 2. This is a very affordable piece of software, which I can very much recommend. I think you can also use it in DaVinci. And I get you the link. The Pro version costs, I don't know, maybe $80 or something. $55. And it has really a huge feature set. So, and we use this kind of tools like for tracking the loudness. You see, this is the movie. Here's the scene where he gets beaten up, so it's very loud. And I kind of, because I knew this movie will probably not go to TV, and so restrictions are not so bad, like if you do like TV or even TV advertisement, which is like very, very restricted in how the values may be. I'll here did like a fancy thing and made it like ear bleeding loud, but just for a few seconds, just for like 10 seconds or something. So I won't hurt anyone's ears, of course. And yeah, that's where you see like the overall loudness measured in LUVs, in loudness units, I think you call them. And it's like a special algorithm they invented to go against the loudness war, because everything got louder and louder and louder because they compressed it more. And you know, I guess you know the story about the Metallica album Death Magnetic, the loudest album in the world. I think after they released this one, they invented or said, okay, we have to stop. We have to somehow find a way to measure real loudness, because just the decibels, this is getting now very techy and very complicated. But anyways, the real decibels doesn't show you how loud it feels. And this loudness unit is the way how to measure more the feeling of the loudness as humans perceive it. Yeah, and so I, of course, try to be at somewhat -21, -25 loudness LU with the overall movie. Yeah. And I try to keep my loudness range. This is the orange one. Also, like, not too big. It's like I think the magic lies in between. You don't want to have not enough dynamics, so it's too loud and too annoying, because then your audience will just lower the volume and you have actually lost, because it all got, then you can't hear the subtle stuff anymore. So you want a bit of dynamic, so it's not boring and not tiring for the ears. But you don't want too big of a dynamic, so that not the audience has to always switch like turn the volume. Hey, what does he say? Blah blah blah. So you have to find like a nice balance, even in cinema, I think. In cinema, of course, you can be like way more dynamic, but I tend to mix even my cinema mixes already to to be more like a TV mix. A little bit. Yeah, Mandeep.
Hi, I'm back. I was listening to
Hello.
all of this, like the last bit for sure. We are almost near the end. Before we end, I wanted to say thank you to Max for doing this, and I hope the students participated. I'm sure they learned, but I hope they participated.
They did, they did.
Okay, excellent. Okay, last question to you. What are your thoughts on Christopher Nolan movies? We are talking about sound over here, Oppenheimer, or Memento, or any other movie. Because we were editing Memento again, and we saw there are spikes everywhere. Every single time you like see a flashback. Is it by design, or do you think the sound designer is not doing their work properly?
I mean, they talk about a lot about Tenet and that you can't understand the dialogue and stuff. And I think Christopher Nolan is a bit egocentric and a bit a dick about it. He wants to he wants to be special.
Right.
I don't know. I think he is a bit far. I totally understand his point of view, like the artistic vision he aims for, but he's not good at getting this thin line of, because if you lose the attention of the audience because they can't hear and they want to rewind the movie, they're already out of it. It's like they're out of the world of the.
Right.
All I want to do is to suck them in and keep them.
Right.
So I will.
Sure.
Of course, my actors may mumble and may be a bit hard to hear, but all the important parts, I will let them peek out a little, just with a fine. You need this gentle touch of riding the edge.
Right.
And I
Right.
think I don't know, Christopher Nolan somehow wants to prove a point or something, a bit too much.
Right. Fair. You're right. But anyways, I wanted to thank you and ask you the silly question in the end. But thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
I'm glad I was not in the meeting because there were so many texts for costumes tomorrow, for hair and makeup tomorrow. So all of that was happening in the background. And guys, Max is helping us record the sound. He'll be designing the sound for this as well and mixing it as well. So I've seen him work. I hope you guys ask question about how to shoot sound so you can mix it better later, not try to hunt sounds on audio or SoundCloud. So hopefully. But yes, thank you, Max, once again. And I'm here to help you sign off. And the stage is yours.
All right. I think I already talked about everything I wanted to talk about. And whenever you have questions, I'll put my email in the chat.
Yes.
So don't hesitate to reach out.
Yes. And now you're the visiting lecturer at the U of W. Another professor, Lise, she wanted to talk to you too to do one class. But it's your choice, your prerogative. Is it okay if I send your email to her?
Of course.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, Max. I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early at 7:30.
Yeah, all right. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, students, I'll see you, I guess, after the reading week. I'm getting somebody else for Thursday, an editor from Toronto. Yes, there will be a class on Thursday for sure. Okay. So hope you guys have a good Wednesday, and I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.